So database labels. So before you create labels, the first thing you're going to have to do is to create a query. So it's very similar to a report, except once you've made your query, you're going to go to create and click on labels instead of the report wizard. So let's see how this goes. So step 32. Produce labels from all the data which shows only the records. So remember, this is done in a query, showing specific information, finding specific information. The car has been dispatched. VIN begins with 36. Distributor field contains the word PLC. Engine size ends with 00. Model field is micro Z or micro eco, and the color is not silver. Okay, so let's start with the first one. The car has been dispatched. But like I said, before you create labels, before you do a report, you're always going to create a query. Okay, so let's close the previous question. So I'm going to save it, close. So to create a brand new query, go to create, query design, add in the tables that you are working with, resize them. Okay, so with labels, I'm just going to add in the fields for now that they mentioned. So the car has been dispatched. Okay, so that is dispatched. I'm going to add that in. VIN, distributor engine size. So VIN, distributor engine size. Model and color. Model and color. Okay, cool. So let's do the criteria. So the car's being dispatched. So if we hit view, datasheet view, you'll see dispatches and yeses and nos. So if the car is being dispatched, we want it to have a yes. So we just type in yes for the criteria. So view, datasheet view. All of these values here should now be yes, which is what they are. So that's the first criteria done. Next one, VIN begins with 36. VIN, criteria row, so begins with 36. That is going to be 36 asterisk. So the first two characters have to be 36, and asterisk just means that any text can follow. So if you hit enter, remember we'll put the like in with the quotations. That's all good. So if you hit view, datasheet view, and you look at the VIN, you see all of these values start with 36. Okay, back to design view. Distributor field contains the word PLC. So distributor, if it contains the word PLC, that's going to be asterisk, PLC, asterisk. Just means that text can be on the left of PLC, text can be on the right of PLC, but PLC must be somewhere within the distributor field. So if we go to view, datasheet view, and we look at distributor, PLC should appear somewhere. So you see it's appearing on the end here. So that is working for us. Next one, engine size ends with 00. So engine size, if it ends with 00, it's going to be the opposite of this one over here. So asterisk means any text can be in the beginning, but now we put what should be at the end, so 00. So view, datasheet view, engine size, you can see all these values here, end with a 00. The model field is micro Z or micro eco. The model field. So you click on model, criteria row. So if we want it to be micro Z or micro eco, we just type exactly that in. Micro Z or micro eco. If we go to view, datasheet view, you can see under model, so micro Z is appearing, but unfortunately there are no micro ecos that have the previous criteria applied. So there's no micro eco model that has an engine size with 00 that contains the word PLC for the distributor and has a dispatch of yes. So this is fine though, so that is good. And the last one is the color is not silver. So it can be any color but silver. So we're just going to say not silver. So every other color besides silver should be in our query. And you can see silver is not appearing here, but every other color that basically has the previous criteria fulfilled for each of these records is appearing, so that's all good. Alright, so you've finished with your query. Okay, we've finished looking for these specific records. So now we can go to labels. But I guess before we do that, this last bullet here, sort into descending order of model. Let's just quickly do that in the query. So model, we're going to make descending. I'm just going to right click on the query, hit save. This is step 32, so I'm going to say step 32. And let's create our labels. So to create the labels, you go to create at the top, labels, and we just read these windows that come up very carefully and just make sure that we are fulfilling the instructions. So on the next page it says shows only the fields VIN model, contact name and port on separate line are arranged into 2 columns. So this bullet over here is what they're asking over here. So it says it's going to be displayed in 2 columns. So that's where it says number across. So we're just going to choose any that has a 2 here. So I'm just going to leave it on this first one and go next. So that's going to help our labels to be displayed in 2 columns. Number across must be 2. We skip this window. We don't need to change anything about the font. Alright, so what labels do we want to show? It should show only the fields VIN, model, contact name and port on a separate line. So VIN. So what we'll do with labels, generally, sometimes it changes depending on if they specifically tell you to display labels in a different way, then you'll follow what the exam's asking you to do. But what you do is you type out the field that you want in your label. So first of all, we're talking about VIN, so we type VIN, colon, and then we take across that field. So you see over here it says must be on a separate line. So when we do model now, we're going to hit enter so it's on a separate line, and type in model, and then take model across, and we just continue to do this for all the fields. So contact name and port. So I'm going to hit enter. Contact name, we'll keep it the same. So contact name. Okay, so contact name is not in this list, so what would happen is you have to say cancel, add contact name to your query, and let me just make sure that the other one is here as well. So port must also be in this table. So port. So I guess that's quite important. Just read ahead and just make sure you have all the fields that you need for your labels before you start creating your labels. So let's go back, create labels, save it. So we said number across is 2, skip this one, so it's VIN, then model, contact name, and then port. Okay, cool. So we have each of those fields all on separate lines. So we have completed that instruction. So then we go next. Okay, which fields do we want to sort by? So you see in the query we said descending order of model. But let's just select model again to make sure that it sticks to ordering it by model. So I'm going to take model across. Go next. And if you want a name for your report for your labels, basically they won't give you one over here, but you can. So I'm just going to say maybe labels, step 32, and finish. Okay, so there your labels come out. You can see we have 2 columns of our labels. Now we just need to put the other information that they state onto these labels. So it displays the field name as well as the data. So basically that's fulfilled. The field names are here on the left, the data is on the right. So the field names and the data is being displayed for each label. That is correct. In a larger font at the top of each label, include a heading cars dispatched. Okay, so to put a heading for each of these labels, got to go to close print preview. You just got to make sure you're in design view. So we're going to make some space above these labels. So I'm going to move them down a bit, highlight them all, and then use the arrows to shift them down. Then the label is capital A, small a. I'm going to put it above. And the title that they taught us to use was Cars Dispatched. So Cars Dispatched. And this has got to be in a larger font, so I'm just going to click on this, go to Home. Maybe increase the font size to like 14. So it looks a bit bigger compared to the font below. You can probably make it bold, etc., but they don't really say anything about that. They just say in a larger font, so that is fine. It has your name, center number, candidate number at the bottom of each label. So just like we did the title, go back to design, capital A, small a, put a label beneath each of these fields. So you'd say your name, center number, candidate number. But I guess just make sure it's in the order that they state. So name, center number, candidate number. That's what I've got here. Name, center number, candidate number. So if we go to view, you can either go now to print preview or layout view just to see what it looks like. So if we go print preview, you can see each label now has that heading, and each label now has our details at the bottom. And that is the end of our labels. So basically you would then probably be asked to print. So in print preview you can just go print here if you want, and select the printer and say OK. And that is the end of this question. So if you need any help with labels or have any further questions about what was done in this video, please let me know.